Good morning and welcome. Sometimes the tech news feels like a bunch of random stories. Not today. Today, everything is connected. We're seeing some fundamental shifts in security, in hardware, and in AI, and it is absolutely critical that we connect these dots.
This is your Essential Tech Briefing for April 15th, 2026. And yeah, today's all about connecting those dots, because the world of tech is truly at a tipping point. So let's just dive right in.
So what's on the docket? First, a nearly $500 million Web3 heist that shines a light on a terrifying new way hackers are working. Then, we'll get into Microsoft's biggest security patch maybe ever, and what's really driving it. We've also got the hidden $500 AI tax you're probably about to pay. And finally, we'll look at the dawn of a brand new era, the AI cyber war.
Okay, let's start with a crazy amount of money lost in the crypto world. But the real story here isn't about some super complex code getting broken. No, it's about trust getting broken. The new frontline in cybersecurity, well, it's you.
Just look at that number, $482 million. That's how much has been lost to Web3 exploits in just the first quarter of this year. It's staggering. But the really important question is, where's that money going? How are they pulling this off? Because the answer to that has changed a lot.
And this chart really tells the whole story. You can forget that old image of a hacker in a dark room trying to find a tiny flaw in the code. I mean, that's still happening, but it's only about a third of the problem now. Almost two-thirds, nearly 64% of all that stolen money came from phishing and social engineering. The target isn't the computer system anymore, it's the person sitting in front of it.
And here's the strategic shift laid out perfectly. The old way was a grind. You'd spend weeks, maybe even months, trying to find one little crack in the armor. The new way? It's brutally efficient. You use an AI to write the perfect, most convincing phishing email, or maybe even a deep fake voice call, and you go straight for the weakest link in any security system, which is always the human on the other end.
So while the bad guys are targeting us directly, the software we use every single day is facing its own crisis. Let's move to our second story, because you'll see how this all connects. We're going from those targeted human hacks to just a massive, systemic flood of software problems.
165. Just let that sink in. That's how many different security flaws Microsoft had to fix in a single day. This is not just some routine update. It's one of the biggest security patches in the company's entire history. The scale of this is, well, it's kind of mind-boggling. So what's actually in this giant patch? Well, for starters, there's an active 0 day in SharePoint. That means hackers are using this flaw right now as we speak. Then there are an unbelievable 93 bugs that allow for privilege escalation. Think of that as an attacker getting a hold of the master keys to the entire building. But here's the real kicker, the connection to everything else. AIs are now finding these flaws at a speed we've never seen before. That's why we're seeing these record-breaking numbers.
And that brings us to story number 3, where this sort of abstract world of AI and cybersecurity suddenly gets very, very real. It's going to hit you right in the wallet. We're talking about the price of your next laptop and what I've started calling the $500 AI tax. I mean, just look at this. It's so stark. Back in 2024, you could grab a base model Surface laptop for just under $1,000. Today, that same entry-level machine is going to set you back $1,500. That is a $500 leap in just 2 years. So what on earth is going on?
Well, the first part of the problem is a component crisis. The price for the super-fast DDR5 RAM that these new laptops need has skyrocketed by 150%, and that's just in the last 6 months.
But wait, it gets worse. At the very same time, the big chip makers, Samsung, SK Hynix, they've deliberately cut their production of this stuff by 40%. They're creating an artificial shortage to drive the price up. It's a classic supply-side shock.
And here it is. This is the real engine behind the whole mess. While the supply for you and me is shrinking, the demand from the AI industry for these exact same chips to power their giant server farms has exploded by 200%. The AI boom is literally eating up all the available memory, and we're the ones paying for it.
Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. As our lives get more and more digital, the hardware industry is finally starting to adapt. Our fourth story is about how manufacturers are finally shifting their focus from making things look sleek to making things that can actually last.
For years and years, the big obsession in phone design was making them thinner, lighter, even if it meant the battery life was terrible. Well, I think that era is officially over. The new priority is endurance. And case in point, the new Vivo T5 Pro, which is packing just a monster 9,020 milliamp hour battery. And this comparison just puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? The Vivo's battery is nearly double the size of what you'll find in the latest flagship phones from Samsung and Apple. And get this, the phone itself isn't even any thicker than an iPhone. This isn't just a small step up, it's a huge leap. It's a signal that what we value in our devices is fundamentally changing. Which brings us to our final story today, and this is the one that really ties everything else together. We've seen how AI is creating huge problems, right? From super smart phishing attacks to finding software flaws. Well, now we're seeing the response. This is the engine behind the new cyber arms race. OpenAI just dropped a bombshell. They've launched a new, highly specialized model called GPT 5.4-Cyber. This is their direct response to the rising tide of AI-powered attacks. And what's really important here is that it's designed specifically for defensive work, to help the good guys find flaws so they can fix them, not so they can exploit them. This slide just perfectly captures the new AI arms race that's heating up. On one side, you've got OpenAI's model, it's built for defense, and they're giving access to thousands of verified security pros. On the other side, you've got Anthropic's Claude Mythos. It's a research model that is apparently so good at finding exploits that they're restricting access to only about 40 organizations. It's two totally different philosophies shaping the future of security right before our eyes. And this timeline really puts it all in perspective. We went from simple antivirus software to smarter machine learning that could detect threats, and then to AI copilots that helped human analysts. But right now, in 2026, we've crossed a threshold. We have officially entered a brand new era. This is now AI versus AI warfare, with autonomous agents fighting it out on the digital battlefield. So, after all that, I think the most important question is, what does any of this actually mean for you? Let's take everything we've talked about and boil it down into your personal 2026 tech survival guide.
Okay, here's your immediate action plan. 4 things you can do right now. 1. If you use SharePoint at work or at home, I'm not kidding. Go run your system updates the minute this is over. That 0-day is real and it's active. 2. Upgrade your 2-factor authentication. Please, move away from using SMS text messages and get a physical hardware security key. It is so much safer. 3. If you're thinking about a new laptop, maybe just hold off for a bit. Let's wait until the 3rd quarter and see if those RAM prices finally come back to earth. And 4. Start training yourself, your family, your team to spot these new AI-generated phishing attacks. They are getting scary good.
And that leaves us with one last really big question to think about. We started today talking about how hackers are now targeting people as the weakest link in the chain. But as we step into this new world of AI versus AI warfare, where it's just machines fighting machines, is that human element still our greatest weakness? Or could our intuition, our judgment, our common sense, could that actually be our very last and most important line of defense?